Guys, it's finally happened. A federal Liberal MP has gained the courage necessary to say that Justin Trudeau is unpopular and Justin Trudeau should resign as the Liberal Party leader. Or maybe it wasn't the courage necessary, it might have been the fear necessary. Because Sean Casey here, the MP for the riding of Charlottetown, is being projected to get smoked by his Conservative opponents. So maybe he only finally came out and said the bleeding obvious because he knows if Trudeau sticks around as the Liberal Party leader, there is no chance he is going to get back into office after the 2025 election. This isn't that surprising. I think eventually the Liberal Party caucus had to at least attempt a palace coup against Justin Trudeau because although they're probably going to lose the next federal election anyways, in some of these maritime ridings or Ontario ridings or ridings out in British Columbia, they might be able to hold on to their own riding if Justin Trudeau moves on. I don't think that Mark Carney or Chrystia Freeland taking the reins of the party is going to do anything for them on a macro level, but on a riding to riding level, Justin Trudeau is the main reason people will not cast ballots anymore for the Liberal Party of Canada. And I'm enjoying myself watching this all happen because, as you all know, I am a conservative. Although I also think that, although it's probably good for the Conservatives if Trudeau sticks around for the next election because it guarantees the Liberals lose by massive margins, I think it's good for the country if the Liberal Party moves a little bit towards the rational side of things and realizes Trudeau sucks and they need to get rid of him, gets rid of the carbon tax maybe from their platform, cracks down on crime the way that Jean Chrétien did. Just do basic stuff that middle class people want. I don't really think this is going to help them if he steps down. Maybe in some of these marginal ridings, they might be able to hold on to a few more in these areas where the Conservatives are gaining, since there's nobody who can take over this party. No, none of the people in caucus right now or Mark Carney are popular enough to actually give the Liberal Party a boost. But in the Maritimes, again, in Southwest Ontario, they might be able to retain a few extra seats. But it's not just Sean Casey saying this. While he's the only one saying that Justin Trudeau should resign formally, other MPs are giving very strong indications that they think that Trudeau needs to move on. I think the top of the list in terms of sounding the alarm that Trudeau needs to go is Anthony Housefather here, who in this interview with Vashi Kapelos on CTV News doesn't say that Trudeau should resign, but refuses to say whether or not he thinks it's a good idea for Trudeau to resign or not.
Before I let you go, Mr. Housefather, you used the phrase speaking truth to power, and certainly every Liberal MP who makes himself available to us. I think I need to ask for the record. I know you're familiar, I imagine you're familiar with the prospect of a group of members of Parliament set to ask the Prime Minister to reconsider his future leading your party. Are you aware of that letter or pledge?
I'm happy to talk to you about that separately, but I'm not going to diminish the issue of Sam Dune by swinging onto something partisan and like that's not what today is about.
Well, I'm certainly not trying to diminish the issue. We just spent 10 minutes talking about it.
Notice there also the uncomfortable laugh I just noticed here, but notice there, alongside the uncomfortable laugh, that he didn't say like other Liberal MPs were saying that there's no list, nobody's signing anything against Trudeau, we all love him and we think he can somehow beat Pierre Poilievre in 2025, which is delusional. But he's not saying that. All Anthony Housefather is saying is, I don't want to talk about that today. So there is a list. Because if there wasn't a list, you'd just say, no, there's nothing going on there. And now let's celebrate us listing Sam Dune as a terrorist organization, which actually indeed is a good win. If there's one Liberal MP I can kind of respect, it's Anthony Housefather, even though I vehemently disagree with him on pretty much every issue. I think he's at least somebody who thinks somewhat rationally. He's like the one Liberal MP who's Jewish who hasn't embarrassed himself yet by embracing a literal terrorist the way that Yara Sachs has. And this entire interview is exuding the fact that not only is there a list, I now believe that Anthony Housefather was probably on it, asking for Justin Trudeau to resign behind the scenes.
My question to you, I mean, you have voiced your concern about the Prime Minister's actions, the federal government's actions on that one issue. But separate and apart from that, is your support of the Prime Minister, do you still support the Prime Minister?
Like, again, I think that they're two different questions, right?
He doesn't say yes. Even if he does say yes later in this, he didn't say yes right away. It's so obvious that these people hate Trudeau's guts these days. Maybe they used to like him. I have no doubt that Anthony Housefather and Trudeau were somewhat friends. But at this point, I think they probably hate how just delusional Trudeau is, thinking he can keep jamming on the same stupid social issues, cutting videos saying, check your bank account today. We just gave you a carbon tax rebate, and that's going to save him. It's not. And people like Anthony Housefather know it.
I support whoever is the leader of my party at all
Oh my goodness. That's a little bit of an indicator.
times, but that doesn't mean there shouldn't be a robust caucus discussion about who the best person to lead us in the next election is. And that discussion should happen in caucus. It shouldn't happen in the media.
So do I take that as you're part of that discussion?
I certainly hope the entire caucus and the Prime Minister are part of that discussion. It's discussions that are ongoing and should happen in every party at all times, right? Every party wants to win the next election, and you've got to talk about what is the best way for us to win the next election, the best way for us to do well, the best way for us to respond to Canadians. And, you know, and those are discussions I think that should happen within caucus. And that's where I intend to have those discussions.
Does anyone think that Anthony Housefather currently likes Justin Trudeau as the leader, or he would want him kicked out? And Justin Trudeau, if there's any Liberal MP he is embarrassed more, it's Anthony Housefather. All the stupid things Anthony Housefather has had to do, pretending that he's like somewhat pro-Hamas to please the pro-Hamas base, when you know that Anthony Housefather, if there's one issue he agrees with the Conservatives on, it's that, you know, terrorists are terrorists and that we shouldn't embrace them as a country. But the Liberal Party has become the pro-terror party alongside the NDP as well, in embracing every single terrorist movement around Canada. The Khalistanis, Hamas, Hezbollah, Samadou. The only reason the government banned Samadou is to slightly distance themselves from all the radicals that the Liberals, the NDP, had been courting over the past year. Dude, Anthony Housefather probably left that interview just to go sharpen his knives just a little bit more before he goes in for the kill with other MPs on Trudeau. Because Trudeau is making sure all of these people in traditionally Liberal stronghold ridings have a very good chance of losing re-election. Currently, Anthony Housefather's riding in Montreal, Mount Royal, is actually on the table for the Conservatives to win. It's like one of the few Montreal ridings that wouldn't go Bloc or NDP, would go Conservative. It's his because of how much the Liberal Party and Justin Trudeau have ticked off the Jewish community there. That's also what happened in Toronto, St. Paul. It was a riding that there was a significant Jewish population in who mostly voted Liberal. And after the Liberal Party and Trudeau, and especially Yara Sachs and Melanie Joly, started bear-hugging Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, they finally had enough with Trudeau. They were already voters who probably didn't like the Liberals a lot on economic issues, but it's like such a traditionally Liberal voting demographic group in a very Liberal voting riding. It's hard to break that habit. It wasn't even a riding the Conservatives needed, but the Conservatives are winning them because of how badly the Liberals have just alienated people in favor of far-left progressives. They're fighting over the same voters that the Greens and the NDP are going for. There's like 10% of the population of Canada that there are three big parties, major parties who can win seats, just fighting tooth and nail for their votes, even though there's like 90% of the rest of the country willing to potentially vote for them if they just become somewhat rational. And hopefully the Liberal Party does that. Because again, although I've heard, and I've said this before in other videos, I know that there's people inside the federal Conservative Party who want Justin Trudeau to stick around as the leader because it makes the Liberals easier to beat. Guys, please stop trying to play on easy mode. The Conservative Party of Canada needs to learn how to win elections, not just wait for the Liberals to lose them. Because even this election, this upcoming election, no matter who the Liberals are going to run as their leader, if they stick with Trudeau or they go with someone else like Mark Carney, they're going to lose. But the Conservatives should have won in 21. They should have won in 19. In fact, they probably shouldn't have lost in 2015. They should have been able to win these, but I don't like the stupid mentality inside the Conservative Party of just hoping the Liberals make bad choices so that we win. I actually want the Liberal Party to not only get Justin Trudeau out as leader, pick a more rational centrist leader who people can at least somewhat respect. I won't vote for the guy, but he reminds me a little bit of Jean Chrétien. Even though I wouldn't vote for Jean Chrétien, he at least understands that you can't spend us into a debt spiral. You can't let criminals go free. You can't embrace terrorist groups. You can't push the most crazy woke policies, because the Conservatives will actually need to get better at running elections. And I'm not like going after the conservatives here and like, oh, I hate them kind of a way. I'm very friendly with like 99% of people in the party, but the people in the strategy and comms department of the federal party need to get better at doing what they do, because beating people like Trudeau in 25 is not an accomplishment. It's pretty much just inheriting the government from the dumbest person on the planet. I want to win. I don't want to just have the Liberals lose and then we just kind of pick up the crown from the gutter and then put it on ourselves. Let's beat a Liberal that's worth beating, not somebody who's not even barely competing like Justin Trudeau at this point. So I hope that the Liberals actually get rid of this chump and they put in somebody less crazy, because wouldn't it be marvelous if we had multiple rational options on the ballot again, that if you vote for the Liberals or the Conservatives, they all are decently fiscally rational, that they're socially rational. I want no woke parties to exist. I want the Green Party to be rational. I want the NDP to be rational. Let's go back to the era where those parties, I might not agree with their agenda, but they're rational and they don't do things against the evidence. They don't keep pushing higher taxes and bigger, more bloated programs when it's not working. They do something different. Anyways, that should be it for me today, guys. If you want to help support the channel, make sure to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment below. I always try and scan through the comments, even though I don't often reply to everybody. And if you want to be able to support us financially, you can donate in the Give, Send, Go link in the description below to help us in this stupid legal case we have against this Chinese billionaire suing us for defamation. And in almost 3 years, he hasn't even filed a single piece of evidence to show how he defamed him, but he's eaten up more than $33,000 in legal fees from me. So if you donate anything to there, it really reduces the burden of costs that I've incurred. I'll have that both in the description of the video below, as well as pinned in the comment section at the bottom, or whatever, pinned at the top of the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I really like the audience I've developed here. You guys are all very cerebral thinkers about politics. We're not just here to make fun of the Liberals and Trudeau, although we will. We also want to be more strategically minded about how we do things, how we market conservative ideas, and how we make the country less insane over time. Have a great one, everyone. See you later.